Hello again, everyone. Today's video is going to be on irregular shapes, and I'm going to go over some examples of what irregular shapes are, and then end it with a bonus activity. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at these now. So here, the first example I'm going to show you says, Jin drew an irregular shape. It has sides of different lengths. He worked out its area. So what he did first is Jin just measures the area in square units. Okay, then each square grid is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. The units are called square centimeter. So he says that my shape has an area of 4 square units. So then we're going to write this as square centimeters, 4 square centimeters, like this. Okay, and if you're just wondering how we did this, you just took the 3 squares here and then took the half squares basically here, and then made one whole one, and he was able to get 4 square centimeters. And this is just based on the rules that I'm showing you here. Now, they could vary from problem to problem, so make sure you're reading this carefully, okay? Now, each square on this grid is 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, kind of similar to what you just saw. Now, to find the area of the shape, we can count the orange squares and use Jin's method to join the half squares. So we'll just take 4 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, and we get 5 square centimeters. Now, another method you could consider is to break the shape into 2 or more regular shapes. This shape is made of a square and a triangle, and together these shapes make a compound shape, which is something we talked about in a previous video. Now, in this situation, it is more difficult to find the area of irregular shapes with curved edges. We can only estimate the area by counting the whole squares first. Okay, so you're gonna have to look at this and see how many whole squares there are. Then we count the squares that are more than half covered as whole squared. Now, this is where you gotta read this carefully, because you have to determine which ones are more than half covered and then basically round them up to whole squares. Now, Banco here says that I get 8 plus 6, which equals 14 square centimeters. Okay, now following these rules, this is what he's saying. So my question here is, what is your estimate for this shape? Again, like I said, you can only count the whole squares first as one whole unit. Then you just take the half covered ones, basically round them up to one whole, and then decide for yourself. So the answer I'm going to show is actually going to be a couple of them. You can say that it is either about 12 square centimeters or about 13 square centimeters. So it really does vary on what your opinion is. So is Banco correct? No, he is wrong actually. Okay, so his estimate is not correct here. Now, again, this is really based on your opinion and what you think it should be. So make sure you just follow the rules that are being shown to you here, and you should be okay. Okay, and again, this is just based on what I'm showing you here. All other books may have different situations and requirements. So what I'm just telling you is show your reading and comprehension skills by reading this carefully, or anything, as always, and then answering the question as the text you're doing requires. So here's the first of several bonus activities I'm going to show you here today. And this one is asking you to work out the area of each shape in square units. Try drawing your own shapes like these on a square grid. Now, if you don't have a square grid, I have shown you resources on my other videos where you can get a square grid. Okay, so if you want to do it on that, you can. If you got paper at home, go for it here. I'm not going to show you that part because I've already done it on a previous video. So I'm just going to answer the first part of this question and work out what the area is for each shape in square units. And I'm only going to do the first two here. So For letter A, looking at this shape, I get an answer of 6 square units. Now I'm saying square units because that's what it's asking for, all right? So if it's asking for centimeters or something else, you're gonna have to do what it says, and don't forget to put it in or else it's gonna be wrong. So don't forget that, okay? Now looking at letter B, again, same idea, and the answer I'm going to get is 5 square units, okay? So again, that's how they want these answers to be shown, and then I'll let you do the rest on your own, and you can solve it and then see how you did. Now, obviously, this is not drawn to scale, which I acknowledge down here, so I hope no one tries to measure this and say, oh, this isn't accurate, because it probably isn't. Okay. Now, the second bonus activity is we want you to work out the area of each compound shape. Now, make sure you read this carefully because it's saying each compound shape. So they don't want you to give me the area for just one shape, but both shapes here for A and both shapes here for B, okay? So make sure you're reading that carefully, all right? So for the next bonus activity, we want you to use these squares here. These squares are drawn on centimeter square grids here, all right? And it says to use your conjecturing skills to estimate the area of each shape, then check. Write the area in square centimeters. So they want you to answer this specifically with this measurement. So make sure you follow it, okay? Now you saw me do this earlier in the video, so I'm not even gonna show you what the answers are here. Just tell me what basically the area is here and make sure it's in square centimeters, and don't forget the measurement, please. The final bonus activity here is similar to the one I showed you with Banco here, and it says to estimate the area of each pond. Now, I want to be very upfront about this. Answers will vary, okay? So it really depends on what you determine the half shapes are, all right? I'm not going to sit here and go through all of it because it'll take too long, okay? But look at each of these different colored lakes. You've got an orange, a blue, and a green, and just try to estimate best you can what the area is of each pond here, and see how close you are, all right? And of course, I will have an answer key in the description down below for you to look at. All right, and I'll have all the answers to all of this that you've seen, and you can check it out. And if you feel something may not be quite right, please leave a comment in the description down below. So that'll do it for today's video, and I hope you found it informative and beneficial, and it'll help you out in some way. And as always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.